It is now time for today's chart of the day. U.S. oil and gas production is on track to hit record levels this year and remain elevated for decades. According to the EIA, that record production conflicting with the president's push to prioritize tackling climate change. The uptick in production can be attributed to an industry-wide boost in efficiency, but the number of active rigs in the country has actually declined in 2023, according to data from Baker Hughes. Now, this comes ahead of that COP28 climate summit over in Dubai. President Biden will not be attending. Later this week, the U.S. delegation will call for a phase out of fossil fuels. And this is why, Rochelle, this chart is getting so much attention. You know, yes, the president has talked about at a time when he's been criticized for from the oil and gas companies that he has overseen sort of record production there. But, you know, he's not only skipping the conference this time after attending 2 years in a row, or two conferences in a row. He's also part of a country that's calling out for a phase out. And this data that we're pointing to runs counter to that very call.
It really does. And as we look at some of the data in here, I mean, according to a report from Climate Transparency within this report, the U.S. government expects this pace that we're seeing in oil and gas activity to continue at near record levels until 2050. And the scientists actually say that's the point that some of these heating emissions are needed to be eliminated to avoid a catastrophic climate breakdown. And a third of this expansion on oil and gas is going to occur in the U.S. Now, obviously, we're coming into an election year, but we know that this has been a priority for the Biden administration. So to see this divergence here and what we're seeing in terms of the oil and gas activity, it's going to be a hard sell for those who really want to see more climate action from President Biden.
Yeah, it points to that tricky dance the administration, or tricky line, I should say, the administration has to toe. On the one hand, calling for major climate action. On the other hand, saying this transition is going to take a while. Fossil fuels are still necessary.